This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
I'm Roby Brock. Welcome to today's Talk Business and Politics Daily. It is Tuesday, October 4th. Here are your top stories of the day. State revenue collections fell below expectations for the third straight month in fiscal 2017 as sales and corporate income tax collections saw marked declines in September. According to the monthly financial snapshot of state government released by the Arkansas Department of Finance and Administration, net available general revenues in September totaled $515.5 million, or 0.1% below last year, 3.1% below forecast. Read more analysis at talkbusiness.net. Backers of an amendment that would grant constitutional authorization to 3 casinos failed to collect enough signatures to qualify for an initial cure period, according to a report released Monday from the special master appointed by the Arkansas Supreme Court. The Arkansas Supreme Court will ultimately decide if the issue remains on the ballot. American Trucking Association's president Chris Spear said that, quote, extreme ideology in Washington, D.C. and a, quote, thou shalt not compromise mentality hurt the industry and the country. Spear, in his first year as the National Association president, called for more industry unity and asked members to help the association be more forceful in pushing back against federal mandates, push for more highway spending, and be a leading advocate for autonomous vehicle implementation and regulation. And you can keep up with these top stories of the day each and every day at our website at talkbusiness.net. After the break, Congressman Bruce Westerman was in Arkansas on a whirlwind tour across his district. He's on a very important conference committee that we'll discuss. We'll run through our latest transportation report and what's on the agenda for 2 legislators concerned about prison and sentencing reform. Senator Jeremy Hutchinson and Representative Vivian Flowers speak up after this.
First Security is here. Only here. So that means we're here, here, and here. Even here. And definitely here. Because here is where we want to be for you. First Security Bank. Only in Arkansas.
Arkansas's most abundant natural resource provides the core asset for Deltic Timber Corporation. In addition to the sustainable yield stewardship of its well-stocked timberlands, Deltic adds value by integrating its efficient wood products manufacturing facilities, as well as through planned development of commercial and residential real estate. Deltic Timber Corporation, creating value for a growing Arkansas.
Congressman Bruce Westerman represents the 4th District of Arkansas. It's a sprawling 33-county district that stretches from northwest Arkansas in Madison County to southeastern Arkansas, the tip down at Lake Village, down in Chico County. In between it all, the district has a lot of timberland and oil and gas production. Congressman Westerman's been tapped for the House-Senate Conference Committee to settle up an energy bill. What will be Westerman's focus? I asked.
Well, when we get back to D.C. after the election and we start working on the energy bill, I want to make sure that the energy interests in Arkansas are well represented there. You know, my main purpose for being on there is to look after the forestry bill that was amended into the energy bill, and also we've got a big sportsman's bill that affects a lot of folks in Arkansas. So that's the 2 areas that I'll probably have the most comments on, but I'll also be looking out to make sure that we're not doing something to hurt energy production in my district or in the state.
That's Congressman Bruce Westerman. Time for another break, and when we come back, a look at the latest transportation numbers impacting Arkansas, plus Senator Jeremy Hutchinson and Representative Vivian Flowers on criminal justice reform. We're back after this.
Each day, the promise of our nation begins again. Arkansas and America moving forward. I help make that promise a reality. It's not for everyone, but people everywhere depend on us.
Oh, I love you too, sweetie.
Trucking delivers, or everything stops. And that's what drives me.
I did.
As Arkansas's population grows, so do our energy demands. But with the right mix of resources, reliable, affordable power will always be a reality. These resources are all around us in our rivers, blowing through our trees, even right below our feet. The answer isn't focusing on one resource, it's embracing them all. The electric cooperatives of Arkansas know that a balanced approach to power builds our communities and powers our dreams. Visit themixmatters.com and see why there's power in knowledge.
Transportation is big business in Arkansas with 4 publicly traded trucking firms headquartered in state. It's much more than just trucking, however. Let's look at the latest Arkansas Transportation Report, which is sponsored by the Arkansas State Chamber of Commerce and the Arkansas Trucking Association. High inventory levels among retailers and manufacturers continue to be a concern for freight sector economists, but truck tonnage was up almost 6% in August. The American Trucking Association's tonnage index rose 5.9% in August. That follows a 0.2% decline in July. Year-to-date, compared with the same period in 2015, tonnage was up 3.5% at the end of August. Traffic on the Arkansas River for the first 8 months of 2016 totaled 7.675 million tons. That is up 21% compared to 2015. But a decline in iron and steel shipments pushed August tonnage down almost 25%. The Arkansas River is still seeing big year-over-year gains due to the river flooding a year ago. Compared to 2014, river traffic is down 15% year-to-date. For the 38 weeks of 2016 ended September 24th, the Association of American Railroads reported that combined rail car and intermodal traffic was 19.2 million units. That is down 7% compared to the same period in 2015. You can check out the Arkansas Transportation Report on our website at talkbusiness.net. It comes out every month, and you can download a PDF version if you want to share it with colleagues or clients. Still to come, what might you expect on the reform front with the state's prison and sentencing guidelines? Representative Vivian Flowers of Pine Bluff, Senator Jeremy Hutchinson of Little Rock share their thoughts right after this.
Circuits turn on the lights by making a connection, by closing the loop. At Entergy, we believe our economy is circular too. What you put in comes back. So we invest billions in new infrastructure, which helps attract new industry, which helps create new jobs. We partner with local communities to electrify the economy, and together we power life. Entergy.
You've likely heard of the Great Arkansas Treasure Hunt. In fact, you or your business may have property to claim in the hunt. But where does this treasure come from? Businesses like yours. The law calls it unclaimed property. If your business is holding money on its books that you've not been able to return to the owner, it's most likely unclaimed property, and the law requires it to be sent to the state auditor's office each year. Auditor Andrea Lee's office can make the process for businesses to comply with the law easy and straightforward. Help us help you return Arkansans' unclaimed property at auditor.ar.gov.
Representative Vivian Flowers represents a big swath of Pine Bluff. Senator Jeremy Hutchinson chairs the Senate Judiciary Committee out of Little Rock. I sat down with both of them to find out what's on their agendas for the 2017 session when it comes to prison and sentencing reforms. Let's talk about a big state issue. You guys are going to be both deeply entrenched in some debate next legislative session on prison and sentencing reform. Senator Hutchinson, I will let you go first. 2 things that you feel like have to get addressed in the next session.
Well, I think the most important thing we can do is improve our probation system. Currently, we don't have enough probation officers, and so they're overwhelmed and they don't do a good job of supervising probationers, and this is true of parolees as well, but probation is where we can save a lot of money. If we increase the number of probation officers, which we need to do, give them a more manageable caseload, and then provide treatment and assistance to not just put somebody on probation when we know they're an addict, we know they're going to fail the terms of probation and they're going to end up in the state penitentiary. If we can provide local treatment, that's a critical component. And then secondly, when they are revoked, I think they ought to be revoked in intermediate sanctions. There should not be, if you fail one drug test, you're revoked for 6 months. Or if you commit a misdemeanor crime, you're revoked for 6 months. There ought to be, it doesn't do any good. These studies have shown, data has shown that, in fact, it increases recidivism the longer you send them. So there ought to be intermediate first revocation, 60 days, and graduating up as they continue to violate the terms or the severity of their offenses increase.
All right, Representative Flowers, two things that you think need to be addressed in this arena.
I think we need to do a better job of funding our drug courts, and in addition to that, providing some uniformity and funding for veterans courts, which we know focus on in both of those areas works to save money by targeting those groups which tend to have some very specific issues. And I kind of couch that as one.
That's okay.
So the second thing that I think we need to do is really do an overhaul in reforming not only the sentencing but the incarceration of people with mental illness. We know that our prisons are filled with people whose problems really stem from mental illness that goes untreated. And so we're really pouring bad money after worse
right.
when we don't address the real problem with that population, and they come out and we know that the primary issue with them is still an issue, and we expect for them to transition effectively and not be a part of that group who come back to prison. So
do you agree with Senator Hutchinson's proposals too, and do you agree with her proposals?
I certainly agree with this latter proposal. I think mental illness is a significant problem and we are not addressing it. Instead, we are incarcerating, which is far more expensive than if we would get treatment for these people. So that I certainly agree with. I think the jury's still out on drug courts and veterans courts. They certainly can work in locations. It depends a lot on the judge and the degree of probation support staff that they have. But there's also some conflicting evidence that they don't work. They don't improve numbers compared to just standard probation. So that, to me, we still need to look at data to determine.
Representative Flowers, 30 seconds. What do you think about Senator Hutchinson's proposals?
I think everything that we've talked about is something that could be addressed. The important thing is to do it right. I think that we can look at data, and where it's not done right, it would show that it doesn't work.
Right.
And so we have to have, uniformity. I think that, and consistency. I think that's an important piece to anything that we do.
That's Senator Jeremy Hutchinson and Representative Vivian Flowers. There is more to their conversation on our website at talkbusiness.net. Check it out. That's all for today's Talk Business and Politics Daily. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.